Hi there, welcome to Bible Slash Chat. Gus, hello.
John, how are you?
I'm great.
I miss talking to you.
I miss talking to you as well. It's been such a long time.
Yeah, we should do a Bible Slash Chat on Christian nationalism.
Oh man, yeah, we'll do that later. Speaking of angels, just kidding. We had a question about demons. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so
Speaking of angels,
we
the
had
baseball team, right?
the baseball team.
They are the
Touchdown
fallen
angel.
angels
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
They are the fallen angels.
We have a question on demons.
On fallen angels.
Fallen angels. And the question is, when
Yeah.
did the angels fall? We know that Satan exists.
Yeah.
He's the prince of darkness. He's the prince of the power of the air. Paul calls him. He's the one who is who John says the whole world lies in his lap.
Yeah.
In his power.
Yeah.
And then obviously he has demons. There are demons who work with him in contrary to the glory of God. We know those things just from text of scripture. But when did he fall? When was he created? Obviously he's a created being. When did he fall? And what like put some framework around him, the fall, what took place?
Well, I think when we talk about the fall and we talk about when Satan fell, we need to talk about, okay, so we know at the end of chapter 2 in Genesis, everything was very good.
Yeah.
So he didn't fall between, some people, there's a view up there that he fell somewhere between 1:1 and 1:2.
Yeah.
That's called the gap theory.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I would call it the guess theory.
Yeah, there you go.
Get it?
Yes. But good.
Seriously, folks.
I'll be here all week.
I'll be here a week, literally, this time.
Exactly.
So at the end of chapter 2 of Genesis, we see that everything's very good. And then in chapter 3, verse 1, we see that the serpent was the most crafty of the animals.
Yeah.
So we see enter the serpent.
Yeah.
So between 2:2 and 3:1, we know now that Satan fell.
Yeah. So okay, and we're basing that on everything was very good that God makes. And then he's present in the garden. Like
Exactly.
He appears in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
In 3:1. So we don't know.
What happens in there?
We don't know how long it elapses. We also know that, the serpent has to live in time. The serpent is not God.
Yeah.
Satan lives in time. Like God, like we do.
Right.
God lives outside of time.
Yeah.
So we would agree with that.
So Genesis 1:1, prior to Genesis 1:1, you have no Satan.
No.
Okay. So
Just the Trinity.
Just the Trinity only.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have creation of the heavens and the earth. So like all the spiritual realm and the physical realm is created by God.
Yeah.
Starting in Genesis 1:1.
Yeah. And then the heavenly beings.
Heavenly beings are also included
exactly.
in that. Good angels.
And
initially
good angels, all of them. Yeah. And then we know from scripture, and this is when it gets a little dicey because we don't know exactly what scripture, and people have used the Old Testament to attest this, but they say things like, well, Ezekiel, Isaiah is talking about Satan.
Yeah.
We're not sure.
Yeah.
Most likely they're not.
Yeah.
but there's people out there that will harken back to Ezekiel or harken back to Isaiah to say, oh, this is speaking of the fall of Satan.
Yeah.
What we do know is from the New Testament.
Yeah.
And there are passages that deal with the fall of Satan, him taking a third of the angels with him.
Yeah. Revelation 12, verse 4, his tail swept away a third of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth. The dragon is the one who does this. So
Exactly.
that idea, the stars in Revelation are most often angelic beings.
Angelic beings, yeah.
So his tail sweeps away a third of the stars and takes them to the earth. Exactly. So you have that language of the fall of a third of the angels.
And then we know from Paul's writings that, especially in the pastoral epistles, that an elder or a pastor should not be proud.
Yeah.
Because that was how Satan fell.
Satan fell.
So that was the snare of Satan in a sense, of how Satan fell.
Yeah.
So we know. So now putting all those two things together, we know that Satan fell. It was pride.
Yeah.
And that he took a third of the angels with him.
Yeah.
In between Genesis 2, at the end of Genesis 2, and the beginning of Genesis 3.
Yeah. And that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's
so
all we know.
that's actually so interesting because it actually like brings up a secondary question, because that you take all that together and you're like, okay, that's interesting, a lot of interesting stuff. It leaves you with more questions than answers.
Of course.
And there's all this stuff, and it's like, well, we don't have actually access to any of that stuff. We actually don't know what's going on inside the spiritual realm, and we're not even really made aware of even the details of what's happening there. We just get like these loose sort of pictures, and then that's really it.
Yeah.
So what do you do with all those questions you have?
Well, I mean, if you can answer them, so we know that it's part of those angels ended up, some of them ended up being put captive.
Yeah.
We don't know how many.
Yeah.
And we know that we have questions like, well, why some angels were put captive and others are doing Satan's bid.
Yeah.
How is it then that Satan now, does he think he won?
Yeah.
Is he trying to win?
Yeah.
Is he blind to the fact that, do we know more than he does?
Yeah.
You know, where is he right now? You know, we have all these questions. And I think I want to suggest to you that instead of speculating and writing Left Behind 4, you know, I think we should take that, all of that information that we have, and just have it at our disposal. But what's more important is to not be demonologists, but just be, you know, Christologists.
Totally. That's good.
Theologists. I think that we want to study God, we want to study Christ, and yes, we need to study demons, and that is and part of angelology is you study demons.
Yeah.
But really, when you are going through angelology, you're going to spend more time studying angels than studying demons, because the information is not readily available
like,
to us.
At best, sparse.
So we know about demon possession. We know about
almost just by observation.
Especially in the Gospels.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Right. We don't know anything. I mean, we know that Satan is an angel of light.
Yeah.
We know that demon possession can happen. We know that someone who's demon possessed can foretell the future.
Yeah.
We know that a demon possession can also, like in the case of Moses, can cause and can mimic God's mighty acts.
Yeah.
But really, that's all we know.
Yeah.
We don't know anything.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I don't know that I've ever, I'm sure I have, but I don't know if I ever, for sure, I've seen someone that is demon possessed.
Yeah.
And I've seen crazy people. But that doesn't mean they were demon possessed.
Yeah. And that's hard. Which is really the answer to the question, right? We know what the text tells us.
Yeah.
And then we're limited by what the text tells us. And then in a sense, you just have to say, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Which then, I think that's what's so fascinating. Like you said, it's important for us to then turn that and say, well, this is what I can know. There's a whole bunch of stuff I don't know. What I do know is more about God. So I'm going to take my attention off of demons and focus on Satan and focus on God and his attributes, his character. And really, like, remember, right? Like when Satan wants to injure Job, he has to come and get permission from God.
Yeah.
So really, God is the Lord of Satan, and he's the one who's in control of these things. We can trust him in these specific things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good. Well, I hope that's helpful for you on the fall of Satan. Good question from one of our listeners. If you have any questions, you can always email us at info@faithbibleoc.org. Thanks so much.